Alright guys, let's jump into episode 7, February units and overview. Who's going to be worth it in February? So I was thinking about not doing a video for February because a lot of these units need 3 ingots and the game hasn't been that hype for me lately, but managed to scramble this up and we're going to do an episode 7. So just to start off, this slot is pretty important. 3 out of 3 EX plus or bust, except for Ignis. Every unit pretty much needs 3 ingots if you're going to use them regularly. If you're not going to invest ingots or books, that's okay for using them as a fodder stage in entropy, because I've done that with Yuna and Yuffie in the past, so it's a valid strategy to use, but not for regular chaos stages. Okay, we're starting off with Eiko. Eiko is a buff support unit. She's the holy mage that provides buffs, healing, and battery to the party. She also imperils the holy element. The EX grants a new HP plus ability for a turn similar to Vivi's double fire. Pros are debuff duration is really high for buffs. The cons are her buffs are standard potencies and they have conflict with a lot of other units. A lot of her moves deal brave damage, but she herself has low attack power, so that could be an issue. Conclusion is, she's a similar level to Kate Sith, but she's not really meta support like Y'shtola or Rosa. So she's kind of low priority overall. Next up we have Sephiroth. Sephiroth is a melee DPS unit. He's selfish, he's a physical damage dealer. He focuses on single target, but his EX has an AoE attack with gravity included. Pros for Sephiroth: great longevity, he has a strong HP plus, he has high brave regen. Cons for Seph: he's just another damage dealer, no utility to the party, besides some small speed down aura. Conclusion is he's low priority, as damage kits are largely expendable. Okay, next up we have a new unit, it's 8. 8 is a dodge and counter unit. He does single target melee counters. Every time he evades attacks, he will counter after evading. Counters do substantial damage and ignore defense. Pros for 8, he can mitigate party damage like big AoE attacks by evading that part himself. He can also cheese some content by manipulating HP. You can see this in the Brothers Chaos where the lowest HP is always targeted. Cons for 8 is it's very difficult to upkeep his evasion buff because it's at 2 turns. So the way to bypass this is to pair him with buff extenders like Yuna or Eiko. He also has inconsistent damage due to targeting. If he's not targeted, then he won't do the counter and he has no taunt in his kit either. He also has bad longevity because you have to upkeep the buff. But his EX is kind of fast at 2 skill uses, so it's pretty good. Conclusion, he is the first respectable counter unit. He's very strong, but he's not really a mainstay party unit in my opinion, but he's middle priority. Okay, next up we have King. King is a ranged DPS unit. He's a selfish damage dealer. He relies on free turns just like Lightning and Jet does with their breaks. His reload refreshes the bullets and it also grants another charge of the Crystal 65 ability. Pros of King is absurd longevity. He has consistent damage output as you just be doing rapid bullets every turn. Cons is the main skill has low potency and his max brave is rather low, so he's not going to benefit too much from batteries. Conclusion for me, he's low priority as well because damage kits again are largely expendable. Okay, next up we have Golbez. Golbez is a mixed dark damage dealer. He's selfish and he does do a dark imperil, but mostly just selfish damage. So he perils the dark element using his EX ability. It also grants him a free ability use. Pros, he can bypass resistances with the elemental weakness. And the weakness on top of large base potencies means he's going to be having high consistent damage. Cons are limited hit count and he's also restricted by dark resist. If enemies resist dark or they absorb or are nullified by dark, then Golbez is not going to be a good choice. Conclusion, he can be used for many stages thanks to his own imperil, and this gives him a middle priority ranking. Okay, next up we have 7. 7 is a melee DPS unit. She uses multiple elements and she relies on a debuff mechanic. Every time she applies the snake debuff, target the same enemy, that's where she gets her power from, and the EX recovers 1 use of skill 1. The pros of 7, she provides a defense down for the party through her unique frame debuff. And cons, she can be shut out by her element use, and debuff mechanic tends to lead to a lot of fluctuations in performance. Conclusion is, She's very low priority due to the risk of getting shut out due to using elements. Okay, next up is Ignis. Ignis is a aura support unit. He is a chef that provides auras, healing, and battery to the party. He has different stances that affect brave and HP abilities. It's a great support kit overall, including having a party overflow up ability. Some pros of his kit are 100% debuff prevention and high burst healing, just like Y'shtola. Cons include limited to no brave shaving. He can only do brave shaving with one form of HP+, and he takes a lot of consecutive turns just like Charlotta. Conclusion, he brings a lot to the team and requires little to no ingots. I recommend 1 ingot, and he's a middle priority for this reason. Okay, next up is Zack, the unfair tank. Zack is a melee and magic mixed tank and damage dealer. He has a shield based off Eye Brave just like Warrior of Light that will negate all damage if his initial bravery is higher. He also gets Last Stand with EX+. Pros, very high damage output, can tank damage for the party, he'll take zeros from everything. Cons, he can be shut out due to a mixed kit. His EX is magic and it contributes to a lot of his damage output. Conclusion, Paradless man with a lot of Eye Brave auras and you can cheese pretty much anything in the game. He gets a high priority ranking. Okay, next up we have the global first, Aranea. So my guess is she's going to be a ranged DPS unit, maybe with some utility. She might be a hybrid unit like Beatrix, who knows. With this banner we might be getting Noctis EX+. It's a shot in the dark, but it's likely because they're from the same game, and he's also on the story artwork that's coming later this month. Next up is Rinoa. Rinoa is a magic DPS unit. She does AoE damage. She gets AP drain every time you use HP+. Pros for Rinoa, very consistent damage. She has very high attack that can easily shave enemies. She has a small party aura for your team. Cons, health drain constantly is an issue, and her hit count obviously is really low. Conclusion, Rinoa needs teammates to heal her up or to mitigate damage coming from the enemies, because unless she's kind of low priority. Okay, next up is Irvine. Irvine is a ranged DPS unit. So with EX+, he becomes more of a hybrid unit. He has small auras for the party, he can do some healing. He inflicts range resist down, so he can restore the party using the EX ability or HP+. He becomes a hybrid, but he has no niche and he's no party battery either. So my conclusion for him is he's on a similar level to Barret, where he provides auras and not much else. Because of this, he gets a low priority ranking. Okay, next up we have a new unit, it's Gau. And Gau is considered a party counter unit. He's the Earth Magic counter unit that can either battery the party or provide HP attack counter. And he does the counter after any party member is hit. He has 2 stances and is locked to the stances for 3 turns. He also imperils Earth elements. Pros are that he can heal a party via his first skill, and the cons are that his counter is low potency. He's also locked to stances, which is not very flexible. Conclusion would be that he's a similar level to Locke, where they're both damage dealers with some utility. I give him a low priority ranking because he doesn't really excel in any field, including damage. Okay, next up is Terra. Terra is a magic damage dealer. She relies on using her stack mechanic. EX+ now refreshes the magic sites, and it grants her a new HP+ ability for 1 use after each EX ability. Pros, she has debuffs in her kit. Some cons, longevity is kind of bad, she has no free abilities. So my conclusion for Terra is, because of her mediocre debuffs and damage, this gives her a low priority ranking. So just to sum up everything, from high, medium to low priority, first up we have high priority. It's going to be Zack, and Aranea is my guess she's going to be high priority. For middle, Ignis, 8, and Golbez are my choices, and everybody else is on the low end. Now if you're on the low end doesn't mean they're bad or unusable, but you know, why use these characters when you use other characters? So that's just the name of the game. If you like them, you can use them, guys. But that is it for this overview, and I'll see you guys in the next video.